tugira igihugu kizira ibiyobyabwenge. Rubyiruko nimwe musingi ukomeye w'igihugu. Radio Imanzi 105.1 FM.
Radio Imanzi.
We got you updated. This is Radio Imanzi News in English.
This is Radio Imanzi, broadcasting from Kigali. Here is the news in English, brought to you by Fiona Umuganwa. The headlines. President Paul Kagame this afternoon received the President of the African Handball Confederation. Lake Kivu farmers have expressed concerns over the sharp decline in sardine species production in the last 3 years. The new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Liz Truss, has pledged to address the issue of the energy price crisis that is staggering most of the world's economies. Welcome back. News in detail. President Paul Kagame this afternoon received Mansour Aremu, the president of the African Handball Confederation, who is in Rwanda for the Under-18 African Handball Championship. Rwanda's national team is to face Egypt in the championship's final game tomorrow. People with disabilities have said the upcoming national census for people with disabilities, which officials say will help set up a digital registry, will succeed only if previous challenges are fixed. Its beneficiaries say issues of family stigma and mobility in remote areas, which bogged down the previous count, still exist. In 2016, the NCPD carried out a physical census, but it failed because the enumerators could not reach every person with disabilities. Jean-Pierre Nizeyimana, a journalist with physical disability, said, asking whether with this new digital census they have solved the issues which undermined the previous attempts. Some people with disabilities who live in remote areas were not facilitated to move from their places of residence to designated locations to meet enumerators. The National Council of People with Disabilities say that, unlike the previous census where beneficiaries were called to go to the nearest health center, in the upcoming exercise, the enumerators will have to go house to house. Results of the census, expected to start next month, will be used to roll out a disability management and information system, the first digital registry of disabled people in sub-Saharan Africa. The $1 million project will facilitate inclusive national planning and support programs for the disabled people, according to officials. The National Council of Persons with Disabilities says with the new system, every person with disability will get a digital profile detailing their disability status and the challenges they face due to their living standards. The Rwanda Social Security Board is the first public institution to have appeared before the Parliament's Public Accounts Committee, explaining its expenditures and financial management-related issues as listed in the 2021 Auditor General's report. This is the first of the 85 institutions that have been summoned to explain some discrepancies reported by the Auditor General. RSSB team was led by the board's CEO, Regis Rudiemashuro, who highlighted changes being done to ensure financial efficiency. Among the changes include the recent decision to make the board autonomous and having a new leadership that turned it around, which has significantly plugged the loopholes that led to losses in the previous years. There were issues that new management inherited, among them including Phase 2 of the Batsinda housing project, which was supposed to be for affordable housing, but was later revised to middle-cost housing. The project was supposed to have started in 2016, but so far has gone only to 35%. According to Rudiemashuro, the affordable housing project was relocated to Rusororo and Kasuji, where studies have been conducted, while relocating it from Watsinda came as advice from the government, considering the cost the project stood at. The park chair, Valence Mohakwa, advised RSSB to report back with a roadmap of when the project will be completed and report it back to the committee. The government of Rwanda signed a partnership agreement with the Tony Football Excellence Program and Impact Investment, focusing on football talent development through sports education for children. Yvette Rudasingwa has more on this report.
The program will concentrate on developing young talent by increasing their capacity, building professional football training facilities, and teaching them sport technologies. The children in question are between the ages of 6 and 18. According to the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Sport, this signed partnership will promote the government of Rwanda's existing objectives in school sport policy.
The program is coming to support the implementation of the sport development policy, which is focusing on grassroots programs and also into the promotion of physical education in schools. So this program is coming to support the development of football from the grassroots, as I said, but also including the training of the coaches that will be working in the program. This will also help us to get the athletes that will be taken to the elite level, where we have probably and for sure good players that will be trained from the grassroots program. This program also is just embracing the vision of having the football program, but also joined to education with the lessons of physical education that will be in the schools.
The first phase of this program will be implemented in 5 districts, namely Burera, Rutiro, Rwamagana, Muhanga, and Kichukiro. During the first phase, 4 district excellence centers and the high performance elite excellence center in Kigali are expected to be built. Yvette Rudasingwa, Radio Imanzi.
Lake Kivu fish farmers have expressed concerns over the sharp decline in sardine species production in the last 3 years. Jean Bosco Sibomana, the coordinator of Chibuye Fishing Project that collects fish produce in Karunji, Rutsiro, and Nyamasheke district, said in 2020 during the peak season, a fisher could catch between 60 and 70 kilograms of sardine per night. He said that during the dry season, a fisher could catch between 40 and 20 kilograms of sardine per night. However, in 2020, a fisher was only getting not more than 40 kilograms per night during peak season, while during the dry season, a fisher could only get between 10 and 15 kilograms per night. He said in 2022, the sardine production continued to drastically decrease. A fisher was only catching between 10 and 15 kilograms per night during the peak season. In April, May, and June alone this year, a lot of teams of the fishing community gave up because they are not catching fish. According to Siwamana, there is a need to conduct research to discover the factors behind the drastic decrease in sardine fish species production. Solange Wituze, the Deputy Director General of Animal Research and Technology Transfer at Rwanda Agriculture and Animal Resources Development Board, said the government is in the preparation process to develop the national strategy for sustainable development of fisheries in Rwanda. This is supposed to carry out the impact assessment of the use of illegal fishing equipment in lakes in Rwanda, propose an effective fisheries information and statistics development system. Owituza said government is also going to conduct a stock assessment and fish biomass in 8 fishing zones, namely Chivu Fishing Zone, Bujesera Fishing Zone, Jisaka Fishing Zone, Northern Fishing Zone, Southern Fishing Zone, Nasho Fishing Zone, Muhazi Fishing Zone, as well as Akajera Fishing Zone. Developing the strategy will also include assessment of alternative fishers' livelihood interventions to reduce fishing pressure, proposing interventions for environmental management and protection of water bodies, and fighting the smuggling of substandard fishing equipment. The President of the Republic of Seychelles, His Excellency Wavo Ramkalawan, today received the Secretary General of the Francophonie, Madame Louise Mshikiwabo. They discussed the international situation and the preparation of the Durban Summit. They decided to expand their cooperation on blue economy and sustainable tourism projects. They also announced their desire to adopt an action plan for French language in Seychelles.
Urifuza kumenya ubuhinzi ndetse n'ubucuruzi bw'indabo bukorera mu Rwanda. Bella Flowers. Bella Flowers ni umushinga ugamije guteza imbere ubuhinzi bw'indabo ndetse no kuzamura ubucuruzi ku isoko mpuzamahanga. Nyarukira kuri YouTube channel ya Radio Imanzi wirebera ubuhinzi bw'indabo muri Bella Flowers. Witinda kora subscribe kugira ngo urusheho kujya usobanukirwa byimbitse ku buhinzi ndetse n'ubucuruzi bw'indabo binyuze muri Bella Flowers.
Economic news is a regular feature on Radio Imanzi. The Rwanda Stock Exchange Market Report. The trading session recorded its turnover of 391,817,000 Rwandan francs worth of bonds traded in 3 deals on the fixed income market and 3,100,800 Rwandan francs from 11,400 Bank of Kigali shares traded in 1 deal on the equities market. The equities counters closed with Bank of Kigali at 272, Bredgwa at 165, I&M Bank at 43, M10 Rwanda at 180, Simirgwa at 120, Equity Bank at 440, Kenya Commercial Bank at 370, National Media Group at 1,200, Utrumi Supermarket at 104, and RH Buffalo closed the counter at 526 Rwandan francs as the market closed. The currency market review of today. The Kenyan shilling buying price was 8.5 Rwandan francs and the selling price was 8.7 Rwandan francs. Tanzanian shilling buying price was 0.43 and the selling price was 0.44. Ugandan shilling buying price was 0.26 and the selling price was 0.27. Burundian franc buying price was 0.5 and the selling price was 0.51. The US dollar buying price was 1,025 and the selling price was 1,046. The British pound buying price was 1,174 and the selling price was 1,197. The euro buying price was 1,013 and the selling price was 1,033.
Some items of international news on Radio Imanzi.
The Supreme Court of Kenya has confirmed the election of William Ruto as the 5th President of the Republic of Kenya. The ruling followed a petition filed by Ruto's main rival, former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Among the grounds put forward by Odinga's legal team was the claim that Ruto did not garner the required quota to take office and demanded a rerun. The Kenyan Constitution provides for a 50% plus 1 vote for anyone to be declared president. However, his lawyers say that the calculation of the percentage garnered should have been based on the registered voters instead of the ballot cast. Odinga's team also argued that the technology used in transmitting presidential results was infiltrated by people who intercepted forms and changed results in Ruto's favor, but judges dismissed the claim, saying there was no evidence to prove so. In delivering her verdict, Kenya's Chief Justice Martha Koome, who led the bench of 7 justices, said that judges unanimously ruled that Ruto was validly elected as president during the August 9, 2022 presidential election. Following the decision, Ruto will be sworn into office on September 13, 2022, which is the first Tuesday after the court delivers its verdict following a presidential petition. The new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Liz Truss, has pledged to address the issue of the energy price crisis that is staggering most of the world's economies. Truss succeeded Boris Johnson after winning a leadership race for the governing Conservative Party today against former Finance Minister Rishi Sunak. She won by 81,326 votes to 60,399. China has locked down 65 million of its citizens under tough COVID-19 restrictions and is discouraging domestic travel during the upcoming national holidays. Across the country, 33 cities, including 7 provincial capitals, are under full or partial lockdown, covering more than 65 million people. Outbreaks have been reported in 103 cities, the highest since the early days of the pandemic in early 2020. Despite a relatively low number of infections, authorities have adhered to a zero COVID-19 policy requiring lockdowns, quarantines, and the confining of people suspected of being in close contact with any confirmed case. China recorded 1,552 new cases in the latest 24-hour period across a nation of 1.4 billion people, according to the National Health Commission. Close to 700 children have lost their lives to a measles outbreak in Zimbabwe since April this year, according to the Southern African country's health ministry. The ministry says 37 of the deaths occurred on September 1st. Subsequently, 6,291 cases were recorded on September 4th. The latest figures are more than 4 times the number of deaths announced about 2 weeks ago, when the ministry said 157 children, most of whom were unvaccinated due to their families' religious beliefs, had succumbed to the disease. Dr. Joans Marisa, the president of the Medical and Dental Private Practitioners of Zimbabwe Association, said the government should escalate an ongoing mass vaccination campaign and embark on awareness programs targeted especially at anti-vaccine religious groups. UNICEF says it is deeply concerned with the number of cases and deaths among children due to measles. The agency said it is assisting the government to combat the outbreak through immunization programs. With that, we come to the end of tonight's edition.